Voiceless.
Absolutely. And I think Christos did indeed win the die roll with a 9. And he might be going first. Here we have a nice round of applause for the players gathering here. Yeah, and we start things off. So the first card being played, the Wanted.
Rescue Ace is a deck that really wants to go first, and the strategy is to, of course, set 4 with Turbulence. Speaking of Turbulence,
There it is.
gets discarded for...
Yeah, I would say that
Yeah,
nowadays when you see a Wanted, usually you think of, again, a Snake Eye strategy. So I think now seeing the Turbulence, his opponent might be a little surprised, but no response. Yeah.
I believe Christos knows that everyone in the room knows what he's using, because he's playing Rescue Ace for a couple of months now.
Okay.
So that's why he was confident to discard Turbulence.
Yeah. Makes sense. And it's definitely a solid chance, but yeah, already we could see, picking up and reading some of these cards. We have seen this deck at the end of, last year being extremely popular, losing, in the finals, but it was one of the most popular decks of the previous format. And now we'll see how it will perform nowadays. But for now, no interruptions from his opponent.
A Rescue Ace board without interruptions is very scary.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I would say if you don't know what your opponent is playing, again, you probably try and play for Snake Eye. And, it's quite a different deck compared to Voiceless. So we'll see if that works for Christos. Okay.
He's summoning SP, so his Turbulence can play around Impermanence.
Makes sense. Really well done here by Christos, again. Really experienced players, but in the meantime, I can tell you that while the rest of the competition started, we have a confirmation, and we will be playing 9 rounds today to crown the Greek Open champion, as we have 303 participants from all over Europe. Great tournament ahead of us. But here comes the Nibiru that you were mentioning, so let's see whether... he tried to play around Imperm, but yeah, he's gonna allow it.
Knowing Christos, I think that he's already played around Nibiru, though.
Yeah. Let's see. And yeah, he's gonna have a pretty solid start here, the Preventer as well. Obviously not that happy about the Nibiru, but looking at the deck lists, we can see that his opponent is playing a lot of interruptions, as you would expect nowadays. And yeah, as you mentioned, well played by Christos, even though he got hit by the Nibiru, didn't really hurt, and now we get to resolve the Turbulence, which is a huge deal.
He's a national champion for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he had come close a lot of times already in the past. I remember, he was
winning
also,
the
the same year I played, he was also in the top 4. So, it's, yeah.
It was actually a very good top 4, because Temis was there, you were there, Christos was there.
We all lost to the dimension.
And of course, our national champion.
Yeah. Okay, so... I mean, this is still scary. Again, not the most popular deck anymore, but it works.
Because even if your strategy is to go with board breakers, when your opponent sets 4s and doesn't make a very huge board with monsters, it's very scary. And maybe we will cut people off guard.
Yeah, exactly. This is a little bit of a read from Christos as well on what he expected for this event. As you mentioned, it's probably not too clear which direction players are going for, and if they use card like Droplet, Talent, etc., Turbulence works really well against them. But okay, we see a small Snake Eye package in the deck as well. Makes sense.
She can extend now to make a Link 4 maybe. I don't know if it will help him though.
taking a little
He
bit
can
of...
make a second SP to banish Nibiru.
Let's look at these extra deck options as well. He has, yeah, pretty much the usual, obviously the Apollousa
And
as
he
well.
goes for the second SP.
And first the Anima, I think, yeah. And let's see. Makes sense. Yeah, solid start for sure by
A very good move,
Christos.
so his opponent doesn't force Mascarena just by going into battle phase with Nibiru.
Do you think there was maybe some merit for holding the Nibiru? But I think not really. I didn't think he had much else. So
If your opponent has the preventer,
yeah, what can you do? And now let's see, because we might have a quick one on our ends, because he draws to 5, but his plan was playing, you know, a lot of interruptions, and he only drew the Nibiru. So sometimes it's, you know, it's a very good strategy to prevent information, because Nibiru is played by everyone. So if you pick up your cards here, there is no way that Christos knows what you're playing. While if you, for example, commit to, I don't know, a diviner or show your deck, and you still lose the game, and let's see, because now he does. This could hurt him, because then you still lose this game, and then Christos knows what to side deck. So let's see. But I mean, it's also nice to, you know, try your best. So the pre-preparation is an amazing card to start things off for any retro deck.
I wonder if he has in his hands cards like tactics or something that will help him go second.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of spells.
Okay, and Christos decides to pull the trigger and already use the emergence.
Another thing about Rescues is that they can play around talent since they don't use monster effects really early in their combo.
Yeah, I'm interested to see whether, you know, he is familiar with this deck, you know, Christos, because it's very, you know, pretty much a niche one for sure. Okay, but he decides to just, you know, play for next turn, get some, you know, resources back, and he's back having to 4 cards in hand, so yeah, really, really solid stuff. Does he want to use anything else? He does? Okay, interesting.
Apollousa is a very strong card against Voiceless, and since he now knows that his opponent uses Voiceless, he will just summon Apollousa.
And Apollousa just for 2 materials, though, so we're gonna keep that in mind. And obviously, you know, the talent was there, but now let's see if, you know, Christos has a response. As you mentioned, Apollousa for sure is really good. And I think he's also holding his own copy of Nibiru in case things go really badly, so let's see.
If he has Nibiru, then a Rescue Ace board with set 4 cards, and Nibiru is really hard to beat.
Yeah.
And Apollousa, of course.
For sure. Holding to 6 cards in hand, still debating what to do. Not an easy spot. I think he has Scar. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he has another copy of pre-prep, which is not that great of a news. The rest of his hand is kind of tough to figure out, but prosperity maybe. Let's see. Yep.
Yes.
And this could be a big one, depending what he can find. Obviously, looking, you know, for talent and this kind of cards. Yeah. No response, it seems, from Christos. So let's take a look at these 6 cards. Oh, a lot of those interruptions he wanted to draw earlier.
Yes, a very mid prosperity.
Nothing too great. He's probably forced to pick one of the voiceless cards, either the spell or the monster.
The first card is Veiler, right?
Yeah, Veiler. Yeah, pretty much half of it is unpickable, but also the trap is not that great at the moment. Maybe. Yeah. I guess the good news is there was no Droll and Lock. That is also a popular card this weekend, and it's very scary for the deck.
For any ritual deck, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it does go. Now, play resolves. Once again, I'm starting to feel worried that I don't know if he can really force this out from Christos.
He can just play the turn just to get info, though.
Yeah.
To see some hand traps from Christos. For example, Nibiru will be interesting.
Gonna take a read. Okay, I was getting a little surprised that he was that familiar with the deck. But, yeah, makes sense. Again, it's round 1, and especially for this kind of events, it's really important to get a good start, as there is no top cut. So, you know, what matters is just trying to go undefeated, and maybe with a draw that can work, but you really don't want to start at 0-1. Okay, now a lot of potential options from Christos once again on how he wants to deal with it.
I think he can just use Appaloosa. I don't find a reason why not to.
And I think he allowed it. Yeah. No response from Christos yet, so we'll see.
He will try to ritual summon.
And once again, the ball is back to Christos. Let's see if he has the read. Yeah.
She will destroy it.
Yeah, because obviously the cute interaction is that the hydrant, which usually would be on the field, you can get to the spell and trapped zone and it still, you know, works. Here there is the response that Christos knew as he read the, you know, the cards from the end.
A very nice play from Koutentakis.
Yeah, I mean, usually the good thing, which is also what we mentioned in the intro, is whenever you see an opponent playing, you know, a niche deck, usually is that because, you know, they know it really well, they know in and out, and that can sometimes, you know, give you the edge, even though you're playing maybe a deck that is a little bit weaker. If you know it really well, I think, you know, it gives you the edge regardless, so. Do we see Appaloosa? Is thinking, yeah. I think he did.
He will negate the summon.
I think so. Or maybe, I mean, looked. Yeah, he did. Makes sense. Now Shane resolves, and if he can, he will redraw, and he does. Okay. So there should be just one last, you know, negation possible from Appaloosa. Let's see.
I think that he already used both effects.
Yeah, I don't know if he used it on the normal. That's why it was a little unclear, but yeah. Okay. And again, you know.
She will try to reborn below, so his opponent doesn't get the negate.
Exactly. And he does. So seems like he's gonna resolve, but he chains
the motion negation.
Yeah. Well played for now by Christos. Is there anything left? No. Seems like the chain will resolve, and yeah, we'll negate it. Only 2 cards left. One of them is a second pre-preparation, which doesn't help. Tough spot for sure, because as mentioned, Christos still has 4 cards in hand, and that is, you know, I mean, it was one of the reasons why Rescue Ace was really successful in the past. It's the recursion power.
And with the field spell, of course.
Yeah, and he picks up his cards. Yeah. So unfortunately, as mentioned, Christos, too great of a start for his opponent to come back. He only had an Ibiru, and Christos really played well around it. Game 1 goes to the favorite. So only one game away from advancing with a 1-0 score. But now his opponent gets to go first, gets to set up his ritual combos potentially. But Christos knows where he's up again. So let's take a look maybe at the side decks and what we think they could bring in. Yeah, exactly. So there are 3 Solemn Judgments. For sure going first.
And
Yeah.
Super Poly is actually a really good card against Rescue Ace because when they go seconds, there are a lot of times that you can just fusion with their monsters.
For sure. So yeah, it does have a few options. It's still somewhat of a combo deck, so usually you don't want to side them much. But I mean, you can probably take out some of these
Bestials.
Exactly, Bestials for sure. And yeah, it should work out. Obviously, there will be a lot of interruption from Christos already in the main deck. I think he was playing 12. Yeah. So I would expect him to add. He's playing 2 copies of Droll in the side deck. So those, weird ratios, but it can work out. They will bring those in. Outside of that, he also has some options with additional cards. He has 1 copy of Pancratops, which usually is decent going second against any matchup. And yeah, he has an interesting side deck. But it will all depend because his opponent, which is what we were talking about, did reveal his deck, but at the same time, he didn't really do that much. So it's still up to Christos whether he knows what the deck does. Because maybe even though he knows that he's up against, Voiceless, if he hasn't tested against it, he's gonna have to improvise what to side deck. But I mean, the good news for him is that no matter how it goes, game 3 gets to go first and can try to do the same. So we'll see what they try to do.
One information that Christos has due to prosperity is that his opponent is in a Handra build, which is very important.
Absolutely.
When you go second.
Yeah,
because he knows that it's not only his board that Voiceless will make, but also the Handra build.
They will have additional backup from the end. He doesn't have that much to fight back against it though. He's only playing 2 copies of Talent. Obviously, those always help going first or second against these decks. But outside of that, obviously, it will be on his opponent to prove that this deck is valid. And I think our duelists are pretty much done with their side decks. So now we can jump into game 2 and see what this opening look like for Koutentakis. Let's see. On the other end, okay, looks like a decent hand from Christos.
Of course, he chose to go first.
Yeah. Okay.
Safira, a very good opening.
Absolutely. So for anyone not too familiar, what do we? Oh yeah, we do see the Super Poly in the deck, so he did bring those in. Okay, he decided to go for one of the niche effects. This is a way as well to protect with the Soravis. You can protect
as you mentioned before, an old card that gets popular again.
I really like it as an option. Basically, it's really good against Veiler and Impermanence specifically because it negates a card targeting.
And Murner.
Yeah. So it makes sense. So what do you think is the goal? Obviously, he will have to play around, and here we see already an Impermanence.
And Soravis as...
So we can say well played by Koutentakis, recognizing that this could be the option. So what do you think maybe might be the goal for the deck if it's not interrupted? We see a lot of extra deck option, like even the Naturia Beast,
I want to actually see because Elias banished it before with Prosperity, and I saw it. And I will actually see his combo to summon Naturia.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
I think it will get Christos off guard.
Absolutely, and I mean he's playing 17 spells, so if he gets to the Naturia Beast, it could be quite annoying. But for now, obviously, solid opener. I think I saw an Ash, but I might be wrong from
Elias?
No, from Christos, maybe. I don't know.
If he had Ash, probably
I would have expected it. Yeah. And yeah, he gets to the second copy.
I think it's the second copy of
Yeah,
Saphira
Safina,
for
yeah.
follow-up.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. So playing kind of like the grind game rather than going for an all-out combo. And now it's back to Christos, who again starts with the wanted.
A card that reminds me Engage, actually.
Yeah. Imagine if Engage was also a quick spell, yeah. As if needed, yeah. But yeah, again, oh, he does have the
He
one.
have
Yeah, he
Pancrators.
does. That's nice. I really like the card overall, and yeah, we'll see it in action. The one copy, all you need, and there it is. Obviously, his opponent not too happy about that.
Pancrator is always scary.
Yeah, it does. Usually, you can get it to even go for a 2-for-1, but worst case scenario, it's always a 1-for-1. So it's a very solid card going second.
And it's also an out to Appaloosa if
Yeah,
it hasn't been summoned with
exactly.
Masquerena.
No, it's really solid. I think he's considering going for it already. The face down.
It might be the trap,
He goes
actually.
for it. Wow, it's just an impermanent. Yeah.
Okay.
So Christos, bold statement. He's basically saying, "I'm not afraid of your field. I can beat it. So I'm just gonna go for the face down." I mean, you never know. To be fair, he could have sided into some. Summon limit is not there anymore, but you have a lot of scary options still. Ooh,
And the Ash Blossom.
Yes.
And I think that Chrysos has now 3 cards in hand, and he will try to draw.
No response for now. But yeah, that hurt quite a bit. He's trying to look for, obviously, his Rescue Ace engine. I would be shocked if that's all he had going, considering he went for the Pancratops on the face down. Okay, yeah. That's a pretty good one with the lifter. The just one off. Very lucky, we could say, pick up with the one of being art drawn. And yeah, if we resolve.
He will add emergency, probably.
Gonna check again the graveyard. Yeah, it seems like the most feasible option. I mean, the Ash is already gone, so not changing his mind. No, yeah. And there are 20 minutes left in the round. There should be plenty of time to finish the duel in time. Okay, so let's see if there is a response. It seems like he surprisingly is the one explaining, the rescue his card to his opponent. And we could see, yeah, he also went for the triple cosmic in the side deck. Probably afraid of these back rows. Okay, goes for the hydrant.
Will be summoned.
Gets
And
rid
release the Ghost Grave.
Yeah, 2 cards left. This is the big push he needs. If his opponent cannot stop it, he might have a chance. I think only 1 card. Yeah, only 1 card left in hand from Koutentakis. Interesting. He doesn't go for the effect. Instead, goes for the anima. And he has preventer, maybe. Let's see. Yep. So, wow, draws into both the one air lifter and the preventer. So, gonna try and push here.
I think Elias has still the negation from the skull, if I'm not wrong.
For now, it resolves. And yeah, he's considering going for one of the most popular extra deck cards this weekend, which is Ida. Obviously, a lot of fire monsters across different decks. And now with the preventer, he gets an additional card back. So, which would be the hydrant. Let's see. Now he goes for the Ita. Attack to the preventer.
Elias has fire in his grave. He has us.
Yes.
Because he used it before.
Exactly.
So Chrysos can push, so he can protect his hydrant.
Yeah, and as a lot of duelists this weekend, he's playing the Access Code engine as well.
And he has a spellcaster grave for Celine also.
Yep. And again, usually ritual decks outside of cards, you know, like the preparations require quite a bit of cards to work with. So if you're able to break their field, as we could see, his opponent is left on 1 card. And we know it's a decent card for backup because it's the Saphira. But, you know, if you can get them to just a few cards left, it's tough to come back. And it resolves. So for now, I don't know. Surprisingly enough, Christos is able to pretty much do whatever he wants.
I think he probably goes for Celine into Access.
Yeah. Seems like the most reasonable one. There are enough spells.
Yes.
Yeah, there should be at least. Let's. Is there a third? Yeah. And yeah, he's displaying again the effects to his opponent. But now, as you mentioned, I don't know, maybe he kind of forgot about the effects, but for now it's working out, I guess. So
I think Chrysos was just wanting to bait the negation from the Skull Guardian, and now he can just go into Turbulence.
Exactly.
I wonder if he still has his traps, though, going second.
I mean, even if he does, maybe side out 1, we'll see. It's
this is the most common strategy to side the motion negate and keep the distraction.
Exactly. But let's see. Maybe he went for kind of an all-in push. Yeah, no response. So now he knows everything. So he knows everything his opponent has. Let's take a look if he has the traps. Okay. Okay.
So as you mentioned, he kept 1 trap.
Exactly. Makes sense. I think it's the... Yeah. you know, you prevent drawing, you know, multiple traps going second, but you still have this amazing push, and this is looking kind of grim for his opponent.
He still has the target protection though,
Yeah.
which is very important against the rescue ace.
But yeah, now he's just asking for confirmation on the final effects. You want to make sure, you know, he can feel that he's ahead. You want to make sure, you know, there is no secret effect that he can, you know, randomly lose the game to. And I don't think there is much at the moment, so.
Since he controls hind, right, he can activate one quick play spell. And for a second time, as he is.
Yeah, this Ash looked good, but now it's kind of on the enemy side. Okay, considering going for a Phoenix. Wow. Yep, and he goes for it. So we have seen this inclusion mainly because of the popularity of you know, runic decks. And it's still useful, just like in this spot. And this is exactly what we have seen in the previous game. This very nice interaction between the Poplar and the Hydrant. Yeah. Still considering.
He can also make Princess here to extend furthermore.
Yeah. Maybe.
And we should mention that he hasn't used Battle Phase yet.
Exactly. Goes to the Battle Phase. "12 minutes left. Again, for now, he's really ahead. But now that it's Memphis 2, quite a few options for him. As you mentioned, he can go for the Princess. He could go for the SP. Yeah, debating what to do here. Yeah, and he does go for the SP. Wow. Really, really good turn. Very well played by Christos. What a turnaround. And yeah. Now the play is back to his opponent, who still has some hope. It's not at all over. And as you can see here, Christos, I don't know.
He has follow-up with the second copy of Saphira.
He has a lot of follow-up. But this one last draw will be an all or make it. We know, again, last card in hand is Saphira. But for now, I think he actually picks up his cards. Wow. Yeah.
I think
probably for time reasons. Wow. I mean, it looked really good, but again, this is one of the things where if you're not too familiar with what you're doing, he thought that, you know, getting rid of the whole field was enough, but he kind of probably disregarded the graveyard effects and the fact that the Voiceless deck can just put up the same field afterwards and just picks up his cards. Interesting, because, I mean, 10 minutes were still a significant amount of time. He could have tried to play it a little bit more, but the main reason might be that, as mentioned, he really doesn't want to draw in this, you know, as a start of the day. So
since there is not a knockout rounds.
Yeah. At the same time, he has, you know, some options. So I was kind of surprised because he's playing a Sprite Sprint and, you know, the volcanic scatter shot in there. But with 10 minutes left, it's, you know, it's a weird time because you kind of want to go for that. But at the same time, if it makes your combo worse, it's not. Is it worth it? I don't know.
It's a tough decision from Christos.
Yeah.
I believe that he chose that so he can actually set up his board, because he knows if he sets 4,
Yeah.
his opponent is in a very disadvantaged place.
But again, this, just to give you the concept, the fact that he picked up his cards, it's also a good sign in a way, because if he wanted to go for the strategy, he could have played the game and then see how it goes. The reason is he's also siding some Solemn cards. He's siding Solemn Strike, not Solemn Judgment. But obviously, when there are, 10, maybe 9 minutes left, it's very scary to side into cards like that. While on the other hand, his opponent, we mentioned it, he was also maining, a lot of cards for going second. And we saw the super polymerizations. So those cards could still be in there. He has enemy controller, so it's very interesting. So I think, obviously, against the Rescue Ace deck, you really want to stop the Turbulence rather than playing, because enemy controller is a great card for going second. But when you're facing down, the 4, the spell and traps, it's okay. So
it has a very great utility.
Yeah.
Because it clears the motion from the board, so you can play through his traps.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
a very good card against the Rescue Ace, in my opinion.
And I think he will have all of them back. But once again, our duelists are ready. As you can see, fist bump. 8 minutes remaining to find out who will be the winner of round 1 here at the Greek Open. And it's Christos going first.
And a very good sportsmanship from the start of the third game.
Yes. And he does start things off with Hydrant. No response from his opponent. Gets access to Turbulence, I think. And let's try and figure out the rest of his hand. I think I see a Preventer once again. And it might be just what he goes for here.
It's probably a preventer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so solid opening.
And again, he will make a speed to play around the permanence of Turbulence.
He can, then he gets back, obviously, the Hydrant.
And this time he's on 4 summons. So he's not scared of Nib.
Yeah, he's gonna have that in his mind, but yeah, as mentioned, for now. Pretty similar, and now he goes for... Okay, Yard drew the 1 copy. Let's see. Original Sinful Spoil gets it once again from the Ash, just like in the previous game, but now we have the Turbulence. Do we have a response from Koutentakis? A lot of possible responses. No, oof, and this hurts a lot. Yeah.
And I just saw a troll in Christos' hand.
Oof. One of the 2 copies, I guess. It worked.
So I think it will be very difficult for Ilias to play around that.
And now that he has his deck in his hand, I can confirm you that this is the reason why he picked it up. He sided the Solemn Strikes. So if, he wanted not to play that significantly into time, but just also side his, his Solemn Strikes. Here, though, we could, see. Let's see if he goes for it.
Go for Princess, so he can have also Princess the Great.
Makes sense. So opens up with the solid opening, similar to what he did in game 1, but now he switches things up.
Umbrella Whale.
Yeah. And okay. Still goes forward.
He will summon Preventer, so he can get back Hydrant from the Banished.
But now let's see if there is a response. As mentioned, a lot of potential cards, and here is the Super Poly. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That was the card we were looking, forward to see. And yeah, it's a great way to start things off here with the Garura. don't think Christos is that happy now, but he will still play this through. Special summoning back. I guess the Hydrant, yeah.
The Hydrant, yes.
Makes sense.
Also, Garuda is a very tricky card in the time, since he can make 3000 damage.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, it's again one of those sneaky things that you might forget. Here, he gets to negate. But 4 minutes remaining, and it's not looking too great for Christos at the moment. Let's see if he can hold. Okay, actually goes to destroy.
And since he controls Hydrant, he will not draw.
But this might be it. Wow. When it looked as if, you know, the super polymerization from Koutentakis could get him, you know, some damage of the game. Instead, okay, it wasn't the greatest of turns, and now plays back to Christos. Wow. What a game. No more cards in hand from Koutentakis. This is his all-in push, nothing else. And Christos has a lot of resources. Let's see, it's gonna come down to the wire, and
A great game 3.
for sure. They need to be careful, because there is also a universe in which Christos, you know, get things going, but they get a draw. Because if these 2 minutes are over and they are still on 8,000, will end in a draw. So I'm sure, you know, Christos, with this experience, will try his best to play as fast as possible. Yeah,
Exactly. I can see from his body language that he's trying to play.
for sure. Obviously, you still need to give your opponent the chance to respond, but you know, you have full information now. You know everything that's going on, and all you need to do is maybe try and, you know, get that attack in. But yeah, this is quite the start of the day, I would say. Maybe you're still a little bit, you know, asleep, and you need to start things off with such a round. It's a lot to handle.
It gets you in the zone.
Yeah. But for now, is debating.
He will activate the field spell to shuffle and draw.
And then you can get back the cards with Turbulence. Exactly. So, great play, but again, the priority should be getting the damage in. 1 minute left. Can you get in there? Okay, switches to attack, normal summon, okay.
He will go.
Yeah, Ita. Once again, the rush coming back. And probably, yeah, it's gonna have to count the spells, because I'm not sure if there are. Yeah, there are exactly 3, maybe. Because there is the field spell as well. Let's see. No, it's which things are. Yeah. I mean, you can see there are 30 seconds left. Access code coming down. Only 30 seconds left, and yeah, this is enough, and very well execution by Christos.
As we said, he's very experienced, and the handshake.
The handshake goes down. What a way to start things off. Great match. The winner is Christos.